there! I'm really excited to show you some new editing features that just rolled out on iPhone iOS 13. You can pretty much do all the editing on your videos that you've been able to do on the photos, and I'm here to show you just how to do that. I'm Kristen with Kinnectivity. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram for easy tips on how to make better photos and videos on social media for your small business. I'll just use this video to show you some of those great editing tips that you can use right on your phone. You don't need a third-party app to edit anymore. You have color options and cropping options and rotating, and let's just get into it and I can show you exactly what to do. Here we are on one of the videos I just shot today to show you how to use these editing tools right on your phone. The first thing that I wanted to show you is you're in a video, so you can play it and you can pause it and you can favorite it. Today we are going to go up to the edit tool, and that opens up all of these edits. So you can see these yellow bars that are on either side of the video. I can kind of pull them as I need to crop in the video. It tells you exactly how many seconds that video clip is. And then you can hit the play button and it'll start from the beginning of that clip that you've selected and run through it. So you can make sure that it is exactly how you want it. Then if you go over to the right, you can go into this cropping tool that was never available before. On the top, you can see that you can actually flip your video from side to side, and you can rotate it 45 degrees with every tap. Just put that back to normal there. And then you have this great little feature that allows you to crop it into a specific size, like a preset size. So you can do free form where you can just drag in the sides and make it exactly how you want it. But let's say you're not exactly sure what a square would be. You can just tap square and it'll make it a perfect square for you. Really handy if you're going to use it on social media. Let's go back to the original, and then you can kind of pinch it, pinch in or pinch out like you would on the rest of your phone to make it fit the screen. You can kind of move it around as you'd want. When you're using photos, and you're going to print photos, I like to automatically crop them at the 3:2 because then that'll make it a 6x4 photo if you're going to print them in 6x4. So that's kind of a little free tip. So for today, I think I'm just going to crop it in square and just kind of make sure that I'm centered there. Then you have these little filters, and these are kind of the same that you'd see if you're on Instagram, where you can just add a filter, black and whites, vivids, warms and cools. I tend to not use any of those features because I just think it makes a lot more sense to use the adjustments that make things a little more custom to your video. So actually I'm going to move this over a little bit so that I'm not in the middle of a word. Okay, so in these adjustments you can click auto and it'll do an auto adjustment. You can see here as you scroll through these other adjustments, they've already kind of fixed. You can see the little yellow circle, or the circle becomes yellow as you adjust it, how much is adjusted. So when you do the auto selection, you can see they all pop off, they all pop back on, depending on how your phone thinks it should be automatically adjusted for color. So I'm going to turn that off and just go through each one of these for you. Number one is the exposure. So you can kind of brighten up or darken the exposure on your video. You don't want to go too contrasty there because obviously that'll make it look pretty intense. So we're just going to brighten it up a tiny bit. And the highlights will increase the whites on your photo. So you can see the extreme highlights, the extreme of the other side. So sometimes I just like highlighting a little bit. Shadows are the same thing. You can see how the shadows disappear and darken with that tool. Contrast, and just play around with these a little bit so that you're getting you can see what they do on the highest levels on either side and just kind of adjust it. We have black point, just kind of darkens up or lightens the true blacks in your video. The saturation, will make your colors pop more depending on what side of the spectrum you're on. And the vibrance, actually we don't need to change it all, I think. And then the vibrance just changes the intensity of those colors a little bit too, whether you want it more muted, like the sepia tones, if you want it brighter. I like to just lighten and brighten a little bit. This gives you warmth. I tend to opt for the cooler side of photos. I just like kind of the look of it. I think sometimes when you warm up skin tones, they can look a little orangey. So actually, I'm probably just going to leave that right where it is. And then you have tint. So you can make my skin tones very pink or very green. We're going to leave that one how it is. The sharpness of your video, and some of those will go right away. When you bring it back, sometimes you almost look more fuzzy. I tend to leave that alone. I leave the definition alone, the noise reduction alone for the most part. And the vignette is a really cool option because you can darken the corners, but if you go the other way, it actually adds a white vignette where you can lighten the corners. And sometimes I bring it right to where it was, and I'll just bring it up just a tad, and it kind of lightens up the edges, you can see. Just gives that little lightness on the corners that just kind of brightens up the whole photo. I mean, all you need is to like a -3 just to add that little bit of brightness on the edges of your photo. And then you just hit done. And you can either save the video as a new clip. So if you want to keep your original video on all of the current settings that you had, then save this new video as a new clip. Or you can just save it as its own, save it with all the adjustments. And depending on how many adjustments it made, it'll take a little longer time saving it, and then you have your new video. So then you can go ahead and play that, and it'll be a whole new video for you. Nice in a square format, right to post to social media. So there are all of the video editing options. Thank you for watching.